Hey there, and welcome to Hard Knocks Los Angeles, the after show. I am so excited you could all be here with us as we recap episode 1 of Hard Knocks, which you should all have just finished watching. I'm the Team Reporter Sarina Morales, and I'm joined by my co-host and the voice of the Rams, J.B. Long. Cheers, J.B.
Oh, look at you. I have to catch up.
Hey,
I do have a bottle of rosé ready to roll, inspired by Sean McVay and Veronica.
Exactly.
But great to be with you, Sarina. I think to quote the coach, I love football and I love you guys. I wish we could see all of you joining tonight, but rest assured it won't be too much longer before we gather with your favorite athletes and coaches at the facility in Cal Lutheran. We are underway with training camp, and Sarina, for me, Hard Knocks is always the unofficial kickoff to a new season. So here we are in 2020.
For sure. I know, it's excited. Great first episode. Kind of a unique mix, right? Having two different teams on.
And that's right. And we're going to have a couple guests on ourselves throughout the next 30 minutes. Looking forward to recapping episode 1 and all the episodes here as we count down to kickoff in the new season ahead. This next face will be a familiar one, whether you're a fan of the NFL or the Los Angeles Rams. He is the voice of the preseason television coverage. Unfortunately, this year for Andrew and for us, no preseason games, but we're going to put him to work here tonight nonetheless. Andrew, good evening. How are you?
What's up, guys? That ding ding, that kind of scared me. I was watching the Dodger game here. That's like, hi.
Right, forget what we're talking about. Actually, also jumping on with us, no stranger to HBO. He actually spent 2 seasons on, I know we all collectively feel the same way. We loved How to Make It in America. You've also seen him on the Mindy Project. He's best known for being a lifelong Rams fan. Please welcome in Bryan Greenberg.
That's right. Thank you.
And Bryan, I'm taking full credit here because I did actually introduce you to Sean McVay just a year ago in Los Angeles when I ran into you.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough to thank you for that intro, by the way.
You got it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he was a big fan of How to Make It, and I told him I was a Rams fan because I was from St. Louis originally, and he said that the LA Rams are much better, and I told him he was too young to remember how good they were.
I dig that. Sean would agree. They had a little moment. It was actually adorable.
We had a moment.
Well, Bryan, we all get to see Sean McVay behind the scenes from time to time, see him go about his business. You've seen him in social settings. What was it like for you to watch this episode and see him with his team in unprecedented circumstances?
Unprecedented as in planning a wedding? I want to see how he does that. This was interesting. We're all dealing with this pandemic, in my business and in every walk of life, we're all learning how to live in this new normal. And you can see even within the episode, he was struggling with it. And he even said it admittedly to the players, like, I got to do a better job. I gotta put my mask on when I'm talking to you, even though he had his mask on while he was saying that. But I think he needs to go back to the face shield. He seemed to really like the face shield. He had all these ideas on how to write plays on it. And then I never saw it again in the episode. So I think he needs to go back to that.
He wants to write plays on the face shield. I think that's perfect for him. That's what he does anyway. And he's teaching his dog plays. So it's like, man, you need.
Oh, that dog, Callie, that dog might get a spot.
Mid-season
like a wide receiver.
Sign him, Bryan. Sign him.
That dog was awesome. Not to make it a dog war, but do we agree Callie beats out Anthony Lynn's dog, which was lovely. Don't get me wrong, but had the back-to-back dogs. And then I think the Rams brought it full circle with the little Frenchie at the end. And I missed whose Frenchie that was at the end, but I think the Rams won the dog battle.
Yeah, Joseph Day's dog. That was the little Frenchie. Yeah.
Which coach's house would you rather be at?
Oof.
Sean showed Cliff a little flex. If you see I was like, okay, Sean.
Yeah.
Bryan, you're in Brooklyn right now. Are you like, everything is spacious in LA. You know this.
I know, but coach for the Chargers, man, like that grill, he was cooking it up, and it was just him and his wife. So I'm like, where's all the food? Who's eating all this? Can I get some?
Right, where does that food go at the end?
Right.
So food. Ridiculous.
That totally looked like all right, Anthony, we know you like to grill. let's put together a scene where we can tell the story of where you met your wife and get the barbecue out.
Right.
The grill might not have even been at a house. It might have just been outside somewhere.
It looked like it was at their facility, actually, in Irvine. It looked like total office park chic right there.
Yeah. No, Sean's at home drinking wine, doing it right.
Drinking rosé.
Which I'm going to
living the life. All right. Well, while we're at it.
I was like, all right. So we got the flex on Cliff Kingsbury. We've got the rosé. We've got the dog named Callie. And we're all pro Sean McVay on the face shield. He's a lot funnier than I think anyone realizes because people think he's a robot.
No, I just like the backstory on that face shield. I mean, new special teams coordinator John Bonamigo gets on Amazon and inspires the whole look.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I was kind of confused with the other team, the Chargers having like their face mask breaking and stuff like that too. I was like, guys, like, don't we all have like branded? I'm all repping LA today. I'm all repping the Rams.
The thing that stood out to me was Sean's thing looked great, and we saw the clip earlier in the week or last week, I think, when they were promoting the show. Part of me thinks he kind of did it for show, knowing the cameras were there, and the other part of me was like waiting for him to take my drink order on a sidewalk somewhere in the South Bay. But it's how lucky we are to have pretty mild weather here. And like the Arizona Cardinals, who it's 115 degrees in Phoenix, and if they're wearing masks on the field, that would have to be brutal.
Yeah. And actually, given that, going to restaurants and everyone being safe, that was probably one of the biggest storylines from tonight's show, how teams are handling COVID. Brian, you're an actor, you're in production. I mean, what did you think of the Rams and their facilities and everything they kind of had to handle throughout this whole thing?
Yeah, it was a lot. I was actually impressed with the testing that they had in place, like every day. That was pretty impressive. And the Cirque du Soleil was amazing. Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work. Like I've got my fingers crossed. I mean, I love the Rams. I want to see them succeed. I want to see football come back, and I just hope everybody just wears a mask, follows the rules, and we can all do this together. At least watch it on TV. I'm bummed I'm not going to be able to go to that new stadium for a while. That looks nice.
So nice.
I was reassured that the toughest, most well-conditioned athletes in the world are still just as squeamish around needles as I am on my annual checkup. So I felt a little bit better about that. I could have done with a few less nasal swabs. I hope we put that portion of Hard Knocks behind us for the rest of the month personally. But Andrew, what about you? I mean, do you come away from tonight having peered behind the scenes, feeling more confident about the protocols in place and the way the coaches and players are treating them as we march towards the season?
Yeah, I do. And I think the one thing that hopefully comes through to all the fans at home, regardless of what team they root for, is how seriously all of this is taken, especially in light of today's college football news. Inside those 32 individual NFL bubbles, my concern has always been, okay, what happens once it's bubble against bubble, team against team, and we actually have to start playing games? We're inside of a month away from that. But inside the building, you could argue here that an NFL building is as safe, I know I sound like a shill here, than any other corporate or any other job in America. You have to test negative 3 times in 4 days just to get in the building. Mm-hmm. So those bubbles are safe, and hopefully the fans see that, and hopefully everyone in the building keeps it that way.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah, for sure.
How did the players feel about no preseason games? Are they bummed? Are they excited? I personally don't miss them. I'm happy just to get the ball rolling and see. I never really liked the preseason games.
I don't think any of the starters missed the preseason games either.
Yeah. I mean, but just so the players don't really miss it, or they're not, I mean, what's the sense?
Andrew Siciliano from NFL Network can clearly speak to all the NFL teams and how they feel.
I'll say this, Brian. I miss it because I have fun doing those games on TV. Right. That said, Sean doesn't play anybody, so the starters don't miss it at all. it's unfortunate for the guys on the bottom third of the roster because they don't get a chance to go out there and be like an Adam Thielen, like an undrafted free agent and make a team, right? Or like a Malcolm Brown and show that you can play in this league. So, I mean, that's the tough part of it. That's also kind of what Hard Knocks has been so good with over the years is telling those stories.
Yeah.
But no, is anyone going to miss like the thrilling action of the fourth quarter of the fourth preseason game when we're all, deep into our bag of stories here and got nothing else to say to each other? No.
You call all the preseason games for the Rams. Andrew, you don't love this?
Oh, I love doing them, but like I have a legal pad worth of anecdotes, It's like, and then by the time you get to the fourth quarter, you just throw that thing out the window. You start talking about what you had for lunch.
Andrew, I agree with what you said, and I just want to bring up one other point for Brian's benefit and our audience as well. I'm excited for Hard Knocks and for HBO that they have more real estate to do the storytelling that they do so well, absolutely. But I think one of the things we'll see in coming weeks is the fact that Brandon Staley is a first-time defensive coordinator. So he's implementing a new system with a defense that's had a lot of turnover. Who's going to put him through his paces as flights of prime time on September 13th at SoFi Stadium? It's going to have to be Sean McVay and Jared Goff and the offense of the Rams. So I do hope we get to see some of that in future episodes because those are the de facto preseason games.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be inter-squad scrimmages, no joint sessions, no preseason games. We might have a good look at it on Hard Knocks.
And just the mechanics, Brian, like Brandon Staley, as JB said, has never actually called the defense, right? And so to get on the headset, to call in the defense, just to get through the basics of like riding a bike, it's going to have to be the scrimmage. And
who's going to be wearing the green dot and taking those calls?
Yeah.
We still don't know who's starting at middle linebacker for the Rams.
Exactly. It's not like lining up against Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys.
Are we touching on our next big storyline, JB? Which, hey, let's call it how it is. Jalen Ramsay and him being Jalen Ramsay and all that he is and all that he brings and his loveliness on press conferences.
Jalen Ramsay, not a big Zoom fan.
What did Sean say? It's for the birds.
It's for the birds. It's funny. I saw a bunch of reporters who were on that Zoom call, and they were like, "Will, I didn't know it was going to be recorded on this thing." I'm like, "Oh man." He was on the tailgate the other day, taking this. We did a live tailgate before training camp, and he was talking about how he's looking for homes in Calabasas. I was like, "Where are you?" He's like, "Oh, I'm in my car." I just think he's hilarious. I hope that we see more of his personality come out in Hard Knocks.
I think he is, how do I say this? I hope people don't see that and think that he was like the biggest jerk during that Zoom call. And at the same time, I also don't think you should like vilify the reporters for asking the questions. They were trying to get the answer there. But he clearly didn't want to bite. His contract is a story. I mean, Jalen showed up last year before the trade in Jacksonville at the beginning of training camp in a Brinks truck with the cameras rolling. The big stunt shows up in the Brinks truck. We at NFL Network did like a behind the numbers thing where we calculated how much money could actually fit in the truck and whether or not the Jaguars, if you stack the bills, could fit that under the salary cap. So he's going to get paid eventually. But as you guys know, his mind's in the right place once he steps on the field, and that's all the Rams care about.
I think it was a calculated move on his part. He's still relatively new to Los Angeles and the Rams, and he just wanted to ingratiate himself with the PR staff and make sure that artists and
JB
early in the HBO Hard Knocks season, just in case the opportunity doesn't present itself again.
Shout out to artists and Tiff and PR. Get the work done. The nice, fun job of being a PR person.
Brian, before we let you go, what were your thoughts about trading for Jalen Ramsay and kind of pairing him with Aaron Donald as one of the most dynamic rushing cover duos in the National Football League?
Excited to see it. I mean, I can't wait. I think they're going to be nasty out there.
We just got to get you to say hi to Sean more often. Like, you just got to come back to LA. You could set it up.
I'm coming back. Coming back next month. I thought Jalen Ramsay had enough room in his locker though for Dante though.
Yeah. In the suburbs, you mean?
Just put him inside that little.
Yeah, he's like he can just fit underneath his locker.
I think he would have settled for that too. He would have been like, "This is better than my locker right now."
Brian, I can tell you got a knack for this because that was the perfect segue. As we say goodnight to you, we are going to bring Dante in next. So thank you for teeing that up, and thank you for spending your time from the East Coast. Well. We look forward to seeing you.
Rams.
All right. And then, as alluded to, Dion is next. But before we introduce him to you, we're going to run a clip to get you all set for this conversation.
I did lower and upper. I see it in the feel me. I do full body every day. I don't do just upper and lower. Nah. I do full body every day. You know what I'm saying? What's up, AD? You straight down there? Hey, you good down there, babe? You straight down there, AD? All right, just making sure you good down there, babe. Just make sure you good down there, man. You know, ain't nothing crazy. Ain't nothing too crazy. Hey, yeah, you see, I've been working out too. I see you posting all your pictures. Yeah, I've been lifting too. I had to tell them, don't worry, I'm doing all these curls, so when I get back to the guys, hey, you see these arms popping off too. Yeah. I'm popping top. I see your ribs. Like a greyhound.
All right, well, move over Aaron Donald because he's coming for you. As JB just said, I do full body every day. Please welcome to the show, Rams cornerback, Dante Dion. DD, he's coming on. And he's going to be smiling as soon as you guys see him, I promise. Oh, come on. And then there we go. Good
What's up, Dante?
What's up? Didi, I knew you were going to be the star of a show. I mean, everyone was tweeting that you should actually have your own show. So,
oh man, it was wild seeing it all come to life on here.
So before we said goodbye to Bryan Greenberg, actor, huge Rams fan, he actually said that Jalen Ramsay should have just put you inside of his locker. Like you could have fit in there.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Dante, how many texts you get during that show?
Oh man, I'm scrolling through them right now still. You know, I'm trying to put them off right now. People are excited. They're excited to just get to see this side of me, you know, because you really don't see this side of me unless you really know me or around me. So it's just funny.
Dante, bold move going up to 80-99 like that. Didn't you see what he did to Devontae Freeman last year in Atlanta?
I did. But, you know, we're on the same side of the ball. So I'm just trying to get him a little route up to go get the quarterback. And now I get, some extra picks and breakups because of the pressure, you know?
For sure. So what happens when we get a Dante Dion show? Because that seemed to be a lot of tweets my way when I was asking for questions for this show. They were like, just give him his own show. So post Hard Knocks.
Yes, post Hard Knocks coming soon. We'll figure something out. We'll give him something good.
Sorry.
All right, Dante, I'll go there. I'll bring up the topic, the very end of the show when Coach told you guys to respect the porta potties, right? I'll go there.
You can go there, Siciliano.
Who was it that was the culprit that required Sean to have to say that?
So we got some speculation going on.
Keep it clean.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out. We're still doing some research, investigating, but we don't know as of right now.
Okay, and will there be like a kangaroo court kind of penalty thing, like the locker room will be the jury and decide if there's a punishment?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's definitely gonna have to be some consequences for that one.
Okay.
Hey, Didi, how do you feel about all the Hard Knocks crew at the facility? Like, is it kind of crazy for you guys? I mean, you clearly know how to turn it on for camera. I know this because I know you well, but they're kind of hiding, or are they not? They're all over there.
Nah, they're kind of like ducked off. So like, sometimes they'll catch you talking and you like, oh, there they are. Hey, no, hey, make sure that's not in there. So it's actually been kind of cool and, keeping them back out the way and they're not like all up in your face. So it's been good.
Dante, I'm going to try and weave a fan question in here if we can. We've all kind of been asking folks to write in as they watch and see if they had any thoughts, reactions, questions. And Fred asks, are the players living at home the entirety of training camp, which unlike years prior, you actually are? Can you give us a sense of the difference this year going home at the end of the day instead of to the dorm or to the hotel?
Yeah, so some guys, they are staying at their house. I chose to come to the hotel anyways, so it still feels like camp for me, but I know those guys are still treating it the same way, but they feel safer and, we respect that. So that's what's going on.
It seems to be that the Rams safety protocols, though, is why you ended up you are in the secondary, but the secondary room for a secondary guy. But it was a space allocation thing. You still mean so much to this team.
Listen. We got to create our own edges, give us something that we got to feast off of, get us going for camp. It's camp. We get them locked in. So that's just my way of putting it in my mind that, hey, it's grind time. That's all. I know it's for safety precautions.
Dante, does it feel like camp? Like how badly, I know it's camp, but how badly do you want to go full speed? Do you want to put a helmet on? Do you want to actually line up against someone and you can put your hands on them at the line of scrimmage?
So that's been the toughest part because especially in the back of your mind, knowing you're not about to have any preseason games. So with that being said, you like, all right, well, come on, let's get going. Let's practice then. Let's, how can I show myself, my talents, and how can we come together as a team, but we're taking the steps and, they got a good plan in place. Coaches got a good plan in place for us. So we're just riding with that. And it's been good for us.
It seems like you and Jalen are pretty close. You haven't been teammates for that long. How did that happen so quickly?
Yeah, so I met Jalen before he even got traded to the Rams. So when he was still with Jacksonville, and we know a lot of the same mutual people, and we got a chance to work out and stuff together. So just building that relationship, and then him coming over here when I was already here, just it was just better.
So we saw the side of him tonight where he kind of snapped on the media about his contract. What was your reaction to that? And then what's the side of him that you get to see that we don't?
Yeah, so that actually kind of fired me up a little bit. I don't know what it is. It just got fired up because Jalen is that leader. He brings that spark. He brings that aggressive attitude we need in the secondary and as defensive back. So we get to see him joking, laughing, all that. But it's time to lock in. It's time to lock in. And I love that about him.
All right. The other thing, Dante, here with the preseason, the lack of the preseason, is that we don't get to see Brandon Staley's defense. For those of us who are not out there seeing all your walkthrough stuff you're doing now, what's Brandon Staley's defense like?
Hey, that's actually a great question, but it's a question I'm, not really, into answering. Not because I don't. It's
You're
just
learning from Jalen.
Is that top secret? It's top secret already.
He gave you a no comment, Andrew.
We on the world when they get to see it. You feel me? That's what I would say about it.
All right.
Not like Amari Cooper's in the room right now.
Yeah, we got something in place for that.
Dante, there was like a quick montage at the end of just a mix of all you guys either snacking on the Zoom calls. Like I saw Samson, someone called him out for eating In-N-Out burger, and he's like, yeah, I'm eating In-N-Out burger. if you're not going to answer Andrew's question, will you give us some insight on what's going on these Zoom calls? Who put the embarrassing, backdrop or whatever?
Yeah, so Zoom has been dope. It's been all right, but just seeing everybody and how they set up their cameras, and AD literally has a picture of him with his shirt off flexing behind him on Zoom. So I'm like, all right, dude, I see what's going on here. I got to get in the weight room a little more. You want all of us to get in the weight room, I guess, because
you should put a picture of him on your backdrop.
Shirt on, bro. So yeah, that's about it.
Who was the most squeamish getting all the shots and the testing and the nose swabs?
It was a lot of those going on. It was a lot. It was a lot of people that didn't like needles and said it tickled. The little nose swab tickled, sneezing, all that. Yeah, but it was cool.
How many have you had now, Dante? Like, how many COVID tests have you had to go through?
I've had one every day since we reported. Well, supposedly since we got back, every day. So that's at least 8, 9, 10.
Are you used to it yet?
Yeah, and now it's kind of smooth. They, in your paperwork, check it all out, and you out.
You're a pro. You're a pro. When you start to get tested, they do them through this one company, Andrew. And so you start to see all the little green dots when it comes out negative. It's like, oh, look at me. I'm in the green all the time. Yeah, that's my salsa dancing. Thank you.
Well, Dante, before we say goodnight, I just want to wish you all the luck moving into the suburbs, maybe even a gated community before this is all said and done.
We got to get you some Calabasas money.
Yeah, see?
All right, Dante, thank you for joining us and making the time and making us all smile as usual.
Thanks, Dante.
And as we approach the bottom of the hour, Andrew and Sarina, why don't we look ahead to next Tuesday night? Again, the three of us are going to be here throughout this season of Hard Knocks as we prepare for Cowboys and Rams at SoFi Stadium in week 1. Andrew, we'll start with you. What one thing would you like to see next Tuesday night?
Okay, so tonight is the 11th. So next Tuesday, it's going to be one day after the team actually gets on the field and has a real practice. So that's what I'm excited to see. J.B., I saw what you tweeted, and I commented on that before. I was actually a little behind on the show because I kept hitting rewind to try to figure out on those quick shots there when the Rams were on offense in that walkthrough, who they had lined up on the O-line. You had the eagle eye to actually get that all. So I'm also looking when we see the real practice, who lines up where. Havenstein still at right tackle, David Edwards at right guard, Blythe, Corbett, and then Witt at left tackle. Good eye with that. And I don't know if it's an episode 2 thing, but I want to see the kickers.
Kicking competition, 3 for 1. That's right. Hey, I have a follow-up on that sequence you're talking about where you're kind of looking at the Rams ones offensively. And one of our viewers on social media, Martin, wanted to know about the earpiece Jared Goff was wearing. He was not wearing a helmet yet in practice. The question was, is that to simulate the microphone, the speaker in his helmet, and again, getting communications from Sean McVay? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'd assume that's what it was. I noticed the same thing. That stood out to me. And when you heard Sean also in the background say, all right, 12 personnel again, which, as you know, we saw it last year, not a lot, but I think we all agree we're likely going to see it again, or likely going to see it more this year. Meaning one back.
I think that was McVay up until the play clock hit 15, and then Jock James.
This is why you guys are both in the booth.
How about you? What do you want to see next week?
I will give the non-analytical piece here because I was so impressed at the fact that they brought back Outkast, So Fresh and So Clean.
Oh, yes.
Keep seeing all the songs because that is the theme, is to wash your hands and wear your face mask. So anytime there's a clean song in there, I'm like, yes, Make a whole, they had the COVID playlist going.
Okay, so I have a text chain with some friends, and they thought that like Outcast might be the Easter egg here. So Outcast, yes, fresh and clean. It was fantastic. Number one. Number two, you see Tyrod's hair. He looked like Andre 3000. There's another Outcast reference. They have the best hair in the NFL in the quarterback room with Justin Herbert as well. And then it was either Telesco or Anthony Lynn. No, it was Anthony Lynn when describing his COVID diagnosis. He said he didn't want to feel like an outcast. And my friend texted me, there is an Outcast thread being woven throughout the show, and that is the Easter egg of tonight's episode.
All right, we got to close this down, but I do want to put in my request for the HBO Hard Knocks crew. Next week, can we please see the entire Rams organization singing happy birthday to Sophie Harlan, whose birthday is tomorrow,
Yes.
the director of ops for the Rams. None of any of this happens without her.
Hear, hear.
What a trip around the sun for Sophie. In the midst of all this, she managed to get married and so much more. So, Sophie, we appreciate you, and we hope you get more shine on next week's Hard Knocks.
Absolutely.
Sarina,
Well said.
Andrew, great to see you both. In the words of Sean McVay,
Likewise.
anyone who knows me knows I need some football. That's the line that will stick with me tonight. I think he speaks for all of us. If you want more Hard Knocks, Los Angeles, make sure to tune in for the West Coast airing tonight at 10 on HBO. And then make sure you check us out on the Rams platform starting Thursday as we start to bring you some live reports from training camp. Andrew, Sarina, good night. Thank you to Brian as well for being our guest. And thank you all for watching. We love you. We miss you. Have a great night. See you next week.
Thanks, everybody.